Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2 from the playoffs of the Team Liquid Star League number 6, brought to you by Shopify and viewers like you, but mostly Shopify, and these amazing players. Let me introduce you. In the top left, you know him. Come on. The finisher. The 2018 World Champion. And still to this day, one of, if not the best player in StarCraft 2. It's Serral. And in the bottom right, the 2016 World Champion, going through the man that he beat in that tournament, Dark, to get here to these playoffs. Can he beat another one? The last non-Zerg, by the way, to win the World Championship. So, let me introduce you to Byun. Needs no introduction, but what are we going to do until the Reaper decides whether or not it's going to get any kills? Speaking of which, he didn't go Reaper. Are you insane? What is this? Byun not going Reaper is like water not being wet. I mean, I guess water can take other forms, but they're not called water. So, it's kind of still fits, but no Reaper at all to start. And honestly, I feel the Reaper's a little played out. We're also seeing it in TVP. Byun probably leading the charge on that. And Terran's more than any other race, I feel. They have just like the Terran Cabal, the Terran Council, the Terran Republic, what have you. It feels like Terrans kind of get together, metaphorically or literally, and they agree, this is how we're playing. We're going 3CC, or we're building a Reaper, not building a Reaper. I guess Byun splits from them more than other players. But it does kind of feel like one style becomes popular and suddenly all Terrans are doing it for 3 months. This is not that style, though. Unless we're on the Cure school of Widowmine drops or die trying. Which has been successful against Serral before. Is he going to build an armory? He's not going to build an armory with this, right? He's just going to straight up Widowmine drops? Okay. I mean, I'm not like okay, like this is dumb, but okay as in, oh, you dirty, dirty Terran boy. Don't get me started on my feelings about Widowmines. I'm sure they're probably going to be stronger by the end of this. Overlord with Overlord speed. The thing is, if you see an armory and a reactor factory, but you haven't seen any Widowmines, what have you actually seen? You've seen exactly what you don't need to know. He's not gonna build Spore Crawlers because this is supposed to be Hellbats. This is Hellbats. But wait, it's not. He's got the armory done as the mine burrows. Unfortunately, that mine, he's waiting for an opportunity, but Serral already killed 2 of them. So this is not going nearly as well as Byun might hope for. Almost dodges it out, but the Hellions coming in towards the 3rd. So this was cute. Oh, what a split from Serral. And well, he doesn't have detection because 100% Serral thought this was Hellbats. The Hellions are in the main. I mean, he had the reactor factory. And oh, wait. It is Hellbats. Surprise! Hellbat man. Not as effective as they would have been a little earlier. This was a cute build. This was definitely not original, but it was not at all what Serral was expecting. But Serral, ever the cool cucumber, just kind of handled it. He lost. Let's check the battle report brought to you by Shop. Nope, that's not it. Jimmy? Oh. This one doesn't have a battle report. I forget. They said this. This series, they didn't use the battle report for reasons that will. Because Jimmy screwed it up! So, but we can see those Hellions again in full color, in HD. They're like, well, it looks blurry to me. Yeah, maybe turn it off auto. But now it's buffering. We'll stop downloading on Steam. I'm not downloading on Steam. Where do I put my AOL disc? Get off Netscape, Grandpa. Oh my God. All right. Auto turret coming in. He has a Raven, I say, after the most obvious Raven in the history of Ravens. I say it more like he has a Raven, so that's interesting, not he has a Raven. Look, it's a Raven. This looks like a Raven, but I hope that was implied. So this, a very bio-curious build here. On a Byun. Like, he's got an armory, he's got Hellbats, he's getting +1 mech armor alongside 1/1 bio, and that mech armor helpful for medevacs, mines, all mech units, just not as particular. So definitely not a bad upgrade to have. I really think more people should use it. Byun definitely. And also nice to open up with armory, because then you can go straight into 2/2, which is sometimes a struggle. The issue is, when you do go for this, your third is a little more delayed. He didn't get that much damage done. He killed 5 drones, but it's not so much about the exact cost. It's about when you kill the drones and what it cost you. And that was a lot of time and a lot of tech that went into doing this Widowmine/Hellion play. That was a lot of time and a lot of tech that didn't slow Serral down almost at all as he goes into his 3, now going on 4 base unit composition. He's the only thing Serral doesn't have that's looking very solid for him are his upgrades, which an upgrade deficit can be not necessarily solved, but made up for a lot by the amount of creep that's out there. Widowmine drop coming in. Really? Serral trying to dodge it. Not quite finding it. No drilling claws. Another factory is on the way. A lot of upgrades finishing up. Baneling speed, critical for dealing with these Marines and Hellbats. Not just because of the speed, but also because of the +5 HP. Combat shields not only not done, but not started. Byun! This ain't Diamond League anymore! That's actually a huge deal. That means with +1 attack, Banelings will one-shot Marines. He kind of needs combat shield. Sure, killing 9 drones with auto turrets and Widow Mines is nice. It's very good. Finally, Serral gets one of those dodges off. But you really need combat shield. Like, the amount of HP you don't... Oh, there it is. Okay. Whew. He does go for it. Thankfully notices. The problem is, combat shield is going to be finishing along with 2/2, and every attack up until then is going to be significantly hamstrung, as now there's 1/1 Ling Bane. Widowmine's dangerous as always. Oh, those creep tumors just appeared. He had to at least wave his rapid fire over. It felt like they just appeared though. Oh my god, Serral. Serral at a calm, casual 420 or so average APM and rising. Pretty high. No Rainer. Those Banelings, so dangerous right now. The Widow Mine... Wait, did he not get the mine out? The Medevac's just chilling. Oof. Another solid mine hit. So, despite not having the combat shields and all that, Byun has gotten the 3 bases pretty comfortably. He's kept the pressure on. The Octo Racks online. The double factory. The Banelings, still super dangerous. Finally, combat shields is done. Concussive shells on the way. as we fill in the upgrades. I kind of zoned out for a second there. As a surprising lack of action for a few seconds. That'll be the end of the lack of action. That'll be the end of things not happening. Yeah. Professional. Like and subscribe for more professional commentary and a dominant grasp on the English language. That's what I'm here for. +3/+3 on the way. Lurker Den. I love to see it. I don't love to see all the tech in the main from Serral, as one well-placed drop could be particularly dangerous, but he does have a lot out ahead of it. The creep looking good. Serral right now not maxed out. Byun, maxed out. So. But Byun has a near religious reliance on units that start with them. He's building, and this is a big thing for him, a Ghost Academy. Not building Liberators. He's not building tanks. He may build Ghosts. But Marines, Marauders, Mines, Medevacs, Metanks, you know. Just these basic mid-game units. Oh, no. He was trying to play both sides. And this is usually how this part of the match plays out. Where a Terran pressures as much as possible along the edges until they can find an opportunity to put everything together and move in. But Byun slapped away on the left side and knocked down on the right. So he's not really finding the damage you'd want to see in order to pressure a Zerg here. 3/3's on the way. Byun still nearly maxed out. But Serral now able to be aggressive. He's able to respread that creep out on the map. It's already about halfway across. And Serral his hive tech is going to be kicking in. Lurker range, adrenal glands, +1 missile attack. All those last level, those max level upgrades are coming together. And Byun's opportunity to really use like a 3/3 timing is almost non-existent. Especially since Serral has a maxed out army waiting on the edge of the creep, and the creep is getting closer and closer to his front door. 4 command centers at a time. More CCs than an annoying corporate email chain. Okay, I'm sorry, we weren't done. 5. I mean, he's got minerals to spend. Enhanced shockwaves on the way for the ghosts. He knows Vipers are a threat. Serral great with the Viper control. Just a standout when it comes to Viper. I know Serral's great at a lot of things, but particularly that. The Lurkers coming in. Mortlings and Banes joining the party. Don't want to be laughed out. There's a interference matrix. Wait, what? And an anti-armor missile. Blinding Cloud works both ways. The Lurkers finding an opportunity. The command center will burn. Not even making a planetary. 74 more lings filling in the rest of the supply. Serral making 3 hatcheries to combat the command center explosion. He's expanding essentially everywhere else. Almost like playing against the AI here. No matter what chance of it actually finishing, we're going to take that hatch. The thing is, there's a pretty high chance of these hatches actually finishing. Byun, and this sounds a little weird, but Byun is limited to 4 bases. Like, he only really... Oh, wow. Not even... I mean, those are obviously known as Marines, but still. Liberators. Ghosts. The ultimate late game. Lurkers. There was a random turret. SCV in the wrong place at the very wrong time. Spreading the Lurkers, just making things difficult. Anti-armor missile. I was talking about that late game spellcaster control. Byun has it too. Parasitic bomb and blinding cloud. All the potential splash damage. But a great split out of Byun. I wouldn't expect anything less. And the Banelings, they're rolling through, will eventually kill the ghosts. Byun will hold the line, but at what cost? He lost a lot of the ghosts. He lost some tanks, a bunch of bio. But. Serral, on the other hand, he didn't lose nothing. He's lost 240 lings, 421 units overall. He's lost significantly more minerals and almost 1,000 more gas as well. Obviously, the income when it's about 7-ish bases and 95 drones to 79 and 4, is going to Serral, which means Byun isn't stabilizing here. He's still got to get something done. Whole lot of Lings and Banes, whereas most of Byun's units working up to the north side. I'm not sure if there was... I thought I saw a Liberator down there. I'm not sure what happened to it. Another base goes down, ripped to shreds by the Zerglings. The Bio Army comes to reinforce, but Byun knocked back to 3 bases, which has a grand total of about a dozen mineral patches left. Byun needs to do something soon because his economy is being... it's in a stranglehold right now. A stranglehold with a lot of spines. Thank you for interrupting me, Serral. I really had no idea how that sentence was going to end. But the lurkers were there to provide some distraction for both players. Lurkers shredding a couple medevacs worth of bio, and just like that, Byun on the back foot again. Here comes Serral again. Blinding cloud on 4 of the tanks on the front line. A great concave of bio is allowing Byun to hold for now. More lurkers coming up. Chasing one down. The snipe goes through, but Zerglings in the mineral lines. Byun takes a step forward, and he has to take 2 or 3 back as 10 more SCVs go down. Command center is canceled. Where were all those command centers he had? How many command centers are left? He has 5 orbitals, 2 more CCs. Oh, they're in the main. Yeah, he still has command. I was like, he hasn't lost that many. And he hasn't. They're in the main still. But if he can't actually land them and grab the minerals, then what's their purpose? Some weird ritual happening over here as more lurkers are built. The inspired plays. Serral, of all the buildings. You've got so many buildings, Serral. So many beautiful buildings. Serral. I mean, he's not gonna kill it with that, but of all the buildings to consume, you couldn't build more Vipers without me, thus making us way more valuable. Okay, Vipers, that's a little selfish. If you've ever seen Carbot, though, not really a surprising move. More SCVs transferred into some rampaging Zerglings. No wall here, they're in the mineral line again. Byun trying to get damage on the left side. Good luck with that. Double parasitic bomb. No one will survive. Zerglings, 19 more SCVs. Byun cannot stabilize. The Zerglings finding every opportunity, just ripping apart the depots. What is this? What is this? Sad. A sad amount of of Marines and Marauders torn to shreds. And yes, to shreds, I say, by Zerglings. Serral, his Hydra's getting sniped, but overwhelming. The swarm, the onslaught, the barrage. Another base will fall, but the acids of Serral are what Byun needs to react to. The Banelings, overwhelming. And really now at this point, just the Zerglings. I'm looking at this, and I've seen it before. This is peak Serral. It doesn't look beatable. At no point in this game did it look like Byun had a chance. It looked like Byun was doing okay. It looked like Byun wasn't losing. But at no point was it like, oh, Serral really needs to hold it together. No. That never happened. From the first, factory, Widowmine, Hellion Pressure, to now. It's been Byun kind of scratching out some opportunities on a map that has been claimed and secured by Serral. Oh, you want to move forward? Hey, how about this? Hello! Is this your base? Oh, fancy that. Tips his fedora. I don't think so. Here come the units. Oh, you move. Oh, hello. The Banelings. This is a stronghold by Byun. But wait, there's still Zerglings. Yeah, you might win a fight. You might win a battle. But you're still very much a 106 Zerglings, 30 Banelings. Hail Hydra. Every Hydra you kill, a few dozen lings will replace it. Serral's just having fun with it at this point. He's got 118 Zerglings. He's got 36 Banelings. He's maxed out. He's got money in the bank in every sense. The tanks, good luck. I've seen the hot cinematic. There's no ultras. He doesn't need them. Oh, you're going back? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a mineral line? No. Did you have NG base? No. Did you have this base? No. Did you want your main? No. Did you want... Were you mining from here? A couple minutes ago. Not anymore. Orbital down. Tanks blinded. Bio forced to stand its ground. But it's very unsteady at best. A few snipes coming through. Whatever. Byun is supply blocked. He lost so many depots and command centers that despite continually losing fights, he is supply blocked. Serral has expanded literally onto his lawn. There are corruptors on the way just to make sure any of these pesky medevacs get knocked out of the sky. Byun has to make half a dozen supply depots just to build units. Byun is sieging his own fort because Serral is mining from it. He's taking his lunch money right now. Serral, by the way, I want to point this out. Serral has +3 flyer attack. This is the first time he's built air units. Okay, he doesn't have +3 flyer attack. He's building it. But before building a single air unit that wasn't a Viper, he's got 3-2 on the way. The Broodlords are here to shut the door. Okay, also, I've been singing Serral's praises. Of course, and who wouldn't? But Byun has 178 supply, which means his army is actually larger than Serral's can be. Did he just kill his own tank? Traitor to the cause. I don't know, maybe there was a Zergling? So, Byun actually has held it together. He's duct taped this army together. But here come the brutes. That is a lot of Banelings. The Banelings, like, they're just here. They're just here to zone out. The Marines, the snipes go through. Beautiful control from Byun, but how beautiful can it get? The Banelings don't close the distance. Byun survives. He thrives. He snipes. And wait a second. He's got one shot. He's got one opportunity. Well, he's got more than one shot. But for the first time in a long time, Byun retakes the supply lead. He doesn't give up. He doesn't surrender. He survives. And Serral can rebuild everything he just had. And then some. But not that much more. Byun just killed all of the brutes. Byun's army is actually so large that Serral doesn't physically have enough to beat it. He has to bite off. Okay, he's like, well, 67 Banelings. He doesn't have to trade efficiently. This isn't even trading anymore. I don't know what this is. But here we go. Another round. The tanks are trying so hard, but the Banelings are rolling all the way through. The Ghost retreating to the second Great Depot line. 30 SCVs slaughtered. And Byun, he doesn't die. But can you even call this living? He still has 96 army supply, but he's down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SCVs. And these mules that he just dropped. He doesn't... I think he just used all his energy on mules, so we can't scan. He saw them burrow, right? Byun does not die. But Serral will not allow him to live much longer. Well, actually, no. Serral's broke. Serral's out of mineral. He's lost 20,000 more resources. Byun is playing the war of attrition, where you simply need to not die. And the thing is, it's not like Serral's out of money. It's just he's a lot lower than he's been in a long while. Oh my god. The income advantage is, tells quite a story. But the army supply at the same time. There's only so many mineral patches left. There's infestors waiting. So the ghost snipe is interrupted by damage. Fungal, a great example of that. Oh my god. The slash through the ground of the lurkers. Oh no. But he didn't. So how long... Okay, this is a little awkward. The thing is, Brenda! You guys couldn't, the Brood Lords couldn't do it. What? Hello? Hello? Everyone! We're finally here. This is your home. The infestor pops out. Brenda didn't craft. I don't even know who I am anymore. But neither does Byun, as Serral is finally... Did Serral just kill his own lurker? I'm not sure that was intent. Blood for the blood gods! And it's too much. It took, at the end of the day, the queens all the way back against wherever Byun had drawn the line in the sand. And again and again and again. But finally, the queens, after 827 Zerglings, after 289 banelings, after 67,000 resources, 1,341 units, Serral battered Byun over the edge. But Byun brought it dangerously close. That is the closest I've ever seen to someone stopping Serral in that position. But it still wasn't enough. Byun just really does not give up on that. But at some point, when you have 5 SCVs, you're on thin ice. We're in the game. Hello? I don't even know where he went wrong. I've been saying this a lot in Serral's games lately. To his opponents. I'm not even sure where Byun went. Like, his opener didn't do much. Serral just kind of handled it. Those Widowmines with their cloak, because the armory was done. And that was that was a wild curveball. Serral did not expect it at all. But he still just handled it. As soon as the Widowmine popped out of the medevac, he's like, oh, okay. Jeez. Proxy racks? It's a little late for that, considering there's a barracks in his main. And Byun is a very emotional player. Like, that was a hard-fought, painful game to lose. And, like, it's definitely worse when you get that close to actually coming back. I think, like, at the end, Byun realized after killing the broods, and I think Serral realized, like, oh, wait a second. There's a chance. And to have that essentially crushed. Serral had one more army left after that. He had several armies before, and he had one after. Okay, maybe 2 if you include the banelings. But then to lose a game from that position, which was still likely, just it hurts. Because that had all the hallmarks of one of the most epic comebacks. But Serral was ready to slam the door. If Serral had gone with another round of just straight up banelings, like instead of switching to infestors and queens and lurkers, if he had gone Hydraling Bane for one more round, then he's out of money. So, but he knew when to cut himself off. He knew when he had too much. And it was time to slow it down and work on actually ending it. Because, of course, he's a world champion. Both of them are. Interesting, by the way. We got Marines out of a reactor. I don't believe he's built a Reaper. Yeah, no Reaper. Neither this game nor last. This is a very old school. If that's going to be a medevac, this is a very old school build. This is like 2011. Like before we learn that Hellions are good on their own kind of build. Is he gonna throw an armory in? That would be the only extra twist here. I don't think so. But we just got Hellion Marine Medevac. Just the ultimate Destiny Cloud Fist 111. Huh. We'll see. Byun's mixing it up. Yeah, I probably wouldn't use your standard cookie cutter builds against Serral. This might be Byun's standard cookie cutter, but I mean like Hellion, maybe one Banshee or two. Like anything that the queens could easily defend. He's building a tank. Huh. Another medevac. Yeah, I'm getting some real like 2012 Wings of Liberty vibes right now. Like, what is happening? But the reason that builds like this aren't nearly as popular, especially in Legacy of the Void, is you just start with such an economy. You're limited by the build time of the tech. Like, your army doesn't come together very quick with this. Compared to how quickly a Zerg, especially compared to like Wings of Liberty, how quick a Zerg can just like build queens and have a third and have a comfortable drone count. So Serral sees these units in his main. Yeah, he's ready. It's going to be a tank drop. Can he hit the mineral line? He can get vision. So far, this seems like it's doing next to nothing. It's annoying, but... And there's a third CC behind. It's not like Byun's... This is his build. This is all of his build. Oh yeah, Serral's a roach farm. I kind of like didn't even register that those were Ravagers. That was... You're not really expecting... I think Serral was lining up a roach all-in potentially. But then whatever this is comes out. And he's like, well, okay. Alright. And now we're all just gonna tech up, I guess. Liberator in the main. Gonna force the drones to pull away. Serral. Gonna get his fourth, and I'm gonna go ahead and predict... Wait. Which base does he put? He's going Roach Ravager, so here. Oh. Serral is so good. I'm like, why didn't he queue up the third? Because he didn't have the minerals yet, but he sent the drone over, so that way when he has the minerals in a moment... You see? I predicted correctly, but I'm so bad, I didn't register that he could just bring the drone over. And then build the hatch, because he's way faster than I would be. Serral outplaying me, and I'm casting. I mean, that's not particularly hard to do. Like and subscribe if you like watching pro gamers outplay me without me ever even entering the game. That was a low energy plug. Is that 2 armories? And is that intentional? There's no way. He built an armory at the front, armory in the main. Let's go to the Byun cam when he cancels this. Wait for it. You see, I gotta redeem myself a little.
You want a piece? Fueled up, ready to go.
Byun using those camera locations.
SCV ready.
I'm waiting for him to see it. Is this intentional? He's not adding on any factories.
Upgrade.
I don't think it is. The alternative is to wait for the moment of like, oh, I have a second armory. Get upgrades, I guess. What is this? What? He's taking that fight with dozens of roaches and ravagers and 3 queens. Like, yeah, I'll just target him down. Brenda! Forward to victory! Revenge! And I mean, a whole knitting crew coming together. The Marines standing their ground. The tank getting a lot of hits off. But that's just a lot of roach ravaging. Serral comes in, supported with plenty of queens. A few roaches in the third, but there's just not enough units. His haphazard trickle-down attack, where he just sent kind of one of everything at Serral, ended up not having enough units. Like, so Serral's just kind of killing him. This feels like he's smothering him with a particular, like a motel pillow. It's a pillow, but it's a really cheap pillow. So it's only it's like made out of like a polyester thing, and it's probably like 12 years old. But it is a pillow he's smothering him with. So apparently, when you just randomly throw units, and it's not random, but when you stick with me, when you randomly throw units at a player who's just comfortably building up on 3 bases and delay everything else you're doing by like a minute and a half because you're doing some like 1 tank 4 marine attack, then you kind of just die. It felt like there were several ideas that just never really came together there. Like Byun's like, I'm gonna snipe overlords and do a tank push. But he didn't do either of them. So with that, we're just kind of on match point. A pretty anticlimactic after game 1. Oh, Byun with the gas first. Game 1, an epic struggle where Byun held his own against the tide and the onslaught of Zerg, and only barely was overwhelmed at the very end. And in game 2, he just kind of flailed around, and then Serral punched him in the face. What will game 3 bring us? So the gas first is to be able to get a factory quickly after the racks. Probably for a sort of, almost certainly for quick Hellions. But I don't know, like Serral looks untouchable. Though I've seen a couple series of them. Nobody's really throwing. What I haven't seen against Serral is a standard build. By standard, I mean just a 1-1-1 with a later 3rd CC, like Hellion Banshee or something like that, or Hellion Liberator. And I'm talking Maru. I'm talking other Terrans as well recently in other tournaments. Everybody wants to like figure out the key to beating Serral. And can you blame them for that? Can you blame them for like Yeah, you don't want to go play a straight up game, but he just doesn't take damage. That his character trait, Serral's character trait, is he injects 50% faster and loses at least 3 less drones to everything. He just doesn't lose drones. I think part of it is because he doesn't build a ridiculous amount and have no defenses, but also, well, he was very much looking for proxy. Really, you think you'd be proxying that late? I mean, who knows with Byun? Byun's character trait is his Marines and Marauders stutter step 20% more effectively than any other player. Like, he just ends up surviving with his bio ball. But it comes at the cost of 20% of the time for getting combat shield. So he's got kind of like the give a little... He's got one of those double-sided ones. And minus 50% wrist integrity. Oh. Oh. True, but the Terrans especially. What is Flash? Like, Flash's wrists are insured for, like, more than most people's houses, I'd imagine at this point. For those who don't know, Flash has had multiple wrist surgeries. I think we're getting better and we're getting more cognizant. Is it time to get into the... I'm getting old, guys, so don't worry, though. I could still play video games because old doesn't matter as much. But, like now that we're into probably the second decade, and I would say mainstream esports started with Starcraft 2. Like, streaming, which is much of esports today, grew with Starcraft 2 originally in 2010. And then, of course, other games quickly became very popular as well. What is this? What is Byun doing with these? I'm going to assume Serral just kind of defends it, because that's like 6 Marines and a medevac, so. But over the last decade, esports has gone from, okay, but when are you going to get a real job, to how can I get a job in esports? And the answer is, good luck. But there is the infrastructure, and there is the knowledge of, like, you gotta not play 14 hours a day with no exercise when you're 18, because your wrists will not survive to 20. And a lot more players of a lot of different games. Like, there are Korea was ahead of the curve, of course, as we know. But outside of Korea, with like League of Legends teams and most other games are weak and require teammates. But there are team houses and training houses and personal trainers and dietitians and cooks, and they got all that. And I'm not saying that like, oh, whoop-de-fucking-do. No. I'm saying that like, they have everything your professional sports team will have, because not just is it important for a competitive sports, esports or otherwise, player to have that, but also they have the money for it, because esports has a lot of money, just like Serral has won nearly $1 million on his own. Byun, a significant amount close to that. I don't actually know with Byun. I think it's like $500,000. And that's just in winnings. So, but we're almost at the point. Well, I think we still talk about winnings a lot. And in single-player games and sports. So, what has happened so far? What? See, Serral loses 3 drones less. Other players would have lost 3 drones. Serral, 0. So what I mean is, instead of 30 being like a hard cutoff, I think we'll see more and more players, like in normie sports or classical sports. I like that. Classical sports. Like, people don't really do that anymore, but how do you not lose drones? How does he not lose drones? For reallys, though. For reallys. Oh, he lost 3 now to an auto turret. He was transferring drones past the Hellion. Anyways, the summary is the infrastructure and the support is there. So I think we'll see less overall people wearing their wrists out at 22. Partially because of that. And also more players playing into their 30s, I hope. Even in more mechanically stressful games like, I would say, Counter-Strike or Starcraft. Starcraft still, obviously, the defining one. But still not as many as those 18-year-olds yelling at each other on Rocket League. But we will see. This drop is going well. This drop is going well. Kind of a disgusting positioning, demonstrating why oftentimes Zerg players will take a base over to the side. It's kind of hard to go back into the game here, but Byun finding a lot of progress at the fourth, going back and forth. Puns mildly intended. This is why Zerg players oftentimes will expand horizontally. So that way a drop doesn't immediately threaten two bases. So you remember all that damage? All that damage that was done by the drop? He killed not that many drones because Serral doesn't let that happen. But a whole lot of units. Yeah, and then he just lost 2 medevacs, most of them with Marines in them. So all the progress that Byun made, almost offhandedly thrown away in 2 medevacs. So, unfortunately, that leaves us in a similar position to the last game, where Byun is struggling to get damage done, and that was the most I've seen against Serral this whole tournament. That was the most progress that anyone's made in the mid-game in this matchup. Is it going to be enough? Serral's got 2-2 in a timely manner. He's even on workers. He's no Scarlet. Serral doesn't make those 90 drones to get them cut back to 75. And that means you can focus more now on getting Hive in a timely manner, on spreading the creep, on consolidating on 4 bases, and instead focusing on the counterattacks rather than recovering from Byun's damage. We do have Hydroling Bane in here. Here you go. Demonstration. Serral, you can call it before it happens, both these players. I mean, we're at that level of StarCraft too, where Serral, come on, you know better than this. Leave some units over by this base. He does have the creep, going to bring the units back. Counterattack coming through. Looking to deny a 4th, and he will do so. Meanwhile, Byun coming. Brenda, what care? Oh my god! Queen's assassinated. There's not that much here. Banelings are required to deal with this. Finds himself at 1, 2, 3. Great targeting. And he gets away. So there is a burrow. Could we see burrowed? Remember that one time? Burrowed Banelings? Also that one game with a laser? Was it a laser? I think it was a laser. Who actually used burrowed mains? I don't... Oh, it's happening! Ah! 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 I mean, it didn't happen yet, but even then, though, like, you think about how many Marines they can actually kill. The scan, Serral moved it back a little bit. I think he moved it enough that it wouldn't be caught in the scan, so he's already preempting with that. Does Serral see that? Did he see that with the Baneling mines, the medevac drop go out? Oh my god. Meanwhile, though, the question is, will Byun ever have enough units? Serral himself has said the reason that Baneling mines aren't used very much is because they distract the Zerg too much. Like, he finds himself getting distracted by the fact he has Bane mines because you want that juicy hit. And it takes a surprising amount of micro. You can't just leave them on auto unburrow, which is a thing, because then they unburrow on the first Marauder that steps by, or first Marine. Just doesn't work. The double drop actually made its way all the way around. I guess Serral, he doesn't have anything really at home to defend, which means he's going to have to back all the way off the map. This is a great drop into the main. Could get the spawning pool before Adrenal Glands. A real pickup. Somehow the medevac made it all the way by. Make a decision. He's going for the hive. He's going for the throne. Beyond target firing the hive, but he bit off more than he could chew. And that means that these medevac... Serral, could you just, like, consume any other building? Byun trying to get damage done. Looks like Byun just kind of gave these medevacs up. Serral, there are other buildings. It is not limited to... there will be no more Vipers. There will only be 2 of all the buildings to consume. The half-dead hive would probably be almost, if not dead last, on the list. And it was right in front of Byun, too. That is a good point. More command centers on the way. Byun losing track of his drops means that Serral is back on the offensive. Lurker Den's on the way. Feels a little late, actually, with this much beautiful blinding cloud. Really screwing up the AI of the Marines there. With that hive-consumed energy. That's the juicy. Everyone knows the energy just not as clean if it doesn't come from a hive. Which is just not science at all. But... whatever. Zergs believe weird things. Missile attacks, level 1, coming through, ranged for the Lurkers and the Hydras. Serral has a little bit of everything. Deja vu, we've just been in this place before, facing Lurkers down, and too many Vipers to deal with. I don't know. I forgot how the rest of that went. Deja vu, we've just been to this place before, 2 medevacs boosting towards the main base. It keeps happening. Oh, maybe you should have consumed the goddamn hive! Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Oh my god. Serral! Serral! Goddamn! Oh yes, the Lurker Den. Also just a useless building worth consuming that never will be a target for Marines in the future. Like, what is he doing? What are you doing? I don't know if it's a bad habit or a flex. Like, I don't... He's like, my 2 arguably most important buildings. Is there a more important building for Serral right now than his hive and his Lurker Den? His Lurker Den, which hasn't finished its upgrades, by the way. He's building another lair. Like, because he acknowledges that his hive may die. And he will not make any statements as to how. We're just acknowledging it may die for reasons. We know, Serral. Mm-hmm. Ah, Banelands! The 4th! Obliterated! A huge wave of Banelings. 18 SCVs that go show up in a graveyard. A drop actually gets out. He burrows some drones to escape, which is the best he can do with that. Where are you going? The Predator drones out for revenge, or to mine from the other base. But what a game. Byun, once again, a great tank spread, but not nearly enough of them. The Lings just running over the Banelings, finding juicier targets. Lings streaming over everything. There's no counter damage. There's no drop on the other side. There's no Vipers consuming key tech and production facilities. There's nothing here. Byun desperately trying. He drops the mules, which is the only way he's going to get even close. The only times he can even get mildly above water. Serral with over 2,000 more resources per minute. Not in the bank, just per minute. Despite... yeah, well, how many... he's lost 6,000 more. Here we go again. This set of medevacs, optimistic at best. Blinding cloud, lings and veins. One step forward and so many steps back. Serral, just wait. Oh, come on. Serral flexing on Byun in every way right now. Byun has built a forward plan. I mean, it can't hurt. There's some extra command. Oh, the line of racks. The production line, if you would. I haven't seen a production line this strong since the last time I went to Shopify. Shopify powering the Team Liquid Star League number 6. Check them out today. And check out how many banelings that Serral has. He must be stopped. But who? If Byun can't. We need like an Archon of TY, Clem, Byun, and Maru. Notice how Innovation has dropped out of the Final Four? That's how I feel right now, to be honest. Those are the top 4, in my opinion. We'll see. Clem breaking the top 4 Terrans, in my opinion. But all of them together, would it be enough? Maybe. But here comes the Swarm. All Byun has is himself. And that's a lot. But that's even more banelings. The Marines hold the line. And you might be like, what a defense. No! On the other side, 16 SCVs knocked out. Ghost will get a consolation prize of an Overseer. But they know that it's barely worth the energy. Serral will trade. And it's not the best. He would have rather killed the army. But there are no bad choices for him. He puts himself in such a great position. He can't lose a fight. No matter what happens, he can't lose a fight. I don't know what happened to the banelings over here. Either they were scanned or maybe they got a connection, but... Oh yeah, there's a hatch here, by the way. I was like, what is he shooting at? The hatchery? Deja vu. Oh yeah, Serral finally learned you can consume extractors. Okay, Don't look up. He just goes next door and starts consuming the hatch. There's still 1,200 gas in there. You need to rebuild that. I don't... Oh. Serral consuming more than a shopping spree on Shopify.com. What a great set of deals you'll find there. Just like when you bring the queens up to support the Broodlords. Now, that plug might not have had as much synergy as I would have liked, but I couldn't ask for more synergy than queens, infestors, and broodlords. What year is it? The entire feudal society, the monarchy, even the infestors getting in on the mix. And while there might not be the plague, fungal growth will still be the biggest issue to contend with. The snipes gets a broodlord, but retreats back quickly. EMPs land. Byun holding the line. Creep has extended into Byun's potential bases, let alone Zergling's burrow. Byun must draw the line here. He cannot lose another base. He has barely any mineral patches left to mine from. He cannot retreat any further. Fungal grabs a couple. The EMPs were great, but were they great enough? The Broodlord's Fungal misses the mark. If this is the army. This is the army. If you're Byun. Snipes find an Overseer. It's not going to get much better than this. He's got 23 ghosts! 23! I mean, he's converted almost, like, his army is ghosts. It's ghost bio. Ghosts are bio, but they're leading the charge. There aren't that many medevacs left over here, so you can't eat too many fungals. Tanks work both ways. The bloodshed. The constant struggle. But he had to lift his orbital. Serral continues pushing forward with the creep, with the spore crawlers, with the brood lords, with the broodlings, which are just brood lords that'll never grow up. If you look at them, they just carry around little brood lords and then whip them out because they will not have challenges to their lordship. Oh, great fungals! Center mass! Here come the banelings! No more fungals, but too much damage has been dealt! The hammer is swung! And while it doesn't connect directly, Byun has to dodge backwards. And with it, gives up. Serral is building a hatch. It's like playing the campaign. It is a campaign mission. Over and over, Serral. You give him any space, he's just expanding on it. The creep is there. Burrowed Zerglings. I'm waiting for like 3 burrowed Hydralisks, an Ultra, and a Queen to just pop up out of nowhere. We're essentially at that stage. The Brood Lords are coming down. Does he have the counter to it? 17 Ghosts, 43 Marines. Like, how are you going to solve this? You have to fight. When are you going to fight? He's been fighting this whole time, but also never enough. Great! The firing squad! EMPs land! There's no detection, but there's also no energy for either side. The snipes wiping out the Brood Lords. Serral caught unaware, not finding any counter damage. For once, Serral not able to take a winning battle. And Byun, once again, as history repeats itself. Game 1, the Ghosts take a decisive fight. The Brood Lords reached a little too far, and they got the guillotine. Byun has 120 army supply. He barely has any SCVs. He's in a better spot, though, than Game 1. He has some economy. He has plenty of orbitals. He kept most of his important army intact. And Serral, while he has a nice amount of workers, he's not maxed out. Those are very ambitious Marines. He's not maxed out. And, well, I was like, and he can't max out, but he can. I don't know what he's waiting for. At first, I was like, oh my god, it's close. Oh my god, never mind. Serral has 4K, 2K in the bank. I think he was just kind of scratching his head a little bit. Maybe taking a nice drink of water while deciding on whether or not he wanted more Brood Lords. And he decided, you know what? Maybe if I don't lose all of them, they're pretty good. And with tanks on the field and with the it forces micro. The Brood Lords aren't the winning move, but they allow you to make the winning moves. They create space. And controlling that space eventually, as the amount of relevant area of the map dwindles, Serral keeps expanding to what would normally be considered Byun's bases. But he can come claim them if he'd like. Good luck. Brood Lord and Fester back on the menu. Truly a Wings of Liberty flavored match. There were some lurkers at some point, I think. I'm not crazy, right? Like, he lost one lurker. He built and lost one lurker and decided lurkers weren't for him. Fair enough. The Ghost looking for an opportunity. The Spore Crawlers might detect them. He decides to decloak. It's just too risky. Even with EMPs, one fungal could ruin everything. Byun is desperately trying to scrounge enough minerals to survive. Serral is trying to find enough army to kill him. EMPs only knock out 100 energy. Brenda! Sniped out, but how many ghosts are there? 15. Get the ghosts out of the medevac right now. The Brood Lords. The Brood Lord micro, surprisingly nimble. Oh my god. And the tank's doing more damage than the Brood Lords right now. Whereas they... Oh, beautiful fungals, tasteless. a single Marine drop finding damage. It's gonna kill some drones. Meanwhile, he tries to jump the army, and in fact, Serral, he brought everything. It happened again. It happened again. He can't go too far. He's got to get the broods, though. Before the banelings come back, he's got to get the broods. The entire ground army. Not select all army, but close. Select all ground. Oh, no. Ooh. You could hear that one. That baneling really melting the hubris of the Marines. Byun getting so close to making oh my god. 36 banelings. Even a single broodling with the tanks on the field. The tanks are the threat. Here comes Serral. Biting off a few more tanks. Byun down to 1 tanks. I'm sorry, none tanks. Oh, some lurkers, eh? Alright, he got rid of all the tanks in immediate... Oh, that's a GG fungal. Byun is out of there. Serral, 3-0, 3 strikes. And it really... It was exciting. It was dramatic. But it wasn't close. Hundreds of lings. Over 1,000 units lost again. But once again, at no point, I think the closest Byun got. The closest he got was the drop at the 4th, going back and forth and getting a lot of damage. But Serral just swarming, as the Zerg do. Well, what do you think? Thank you to Shopify for sponsoring TSL 6. Is Zerg even stoppable? Can Serral be slowed down, let alone handled? Is Protoss overpowered? Leave a comment, like, subscribe, check out these videos and this love in the chat. And hopefully you enjoyed my breakdown. Shades of Wings of Liberty in those matches, but also just Serral in top form. Can he go all the way? Thank you for watching. Good luck and have fun.